This is Anakin Skywalker, and you're listening to the Gold Squadron Podcast.
This is episode 111 of the Gold Squadron Podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel Papichulo Manzano.
What we've got here is a failure to communicate.
And William, so close, Haywood.
Turns out the real fun Bobby isn't just a nickname. That guy's super fun.
Alrighty, so today we're going to be talking about some premiere event results. But before we jump into that, we want to say thank you to everybody who in the last week has become a patron. Normally, this is where I read the names, but as of when I was writing the notes, the site was down. So I don't have a list of your names. I will read you guys' names next week. So if you were expecting your name, don't be sad. I got you, fam. Just going to be next week. All right, Marcel, Team USA update. How are things going?
Things are going good. Thanks to everybody who's been helping out with the GoFundMe. We broke 1,000 in donations, so we're on our way to basically cover the costs and the bonus of getting you, Dion, to stream the events. Actually, I really want to stream the event. I might even pass up on my plane ticket and get you over there. Not my plane ticket to go, but my plane ticket coverage and get you to go. I'm really excited for you to go and do this. So I might. The peer pressure worked really well on Tyler and Mr. Dragon. So there might be some peer pressure headed your way.
Some peer pressure.
On other news, one of the team captains for one of the main rivals happened to win a national championship. So, oops, we're gonna have to train extra hard. And finally, probably the news that will make most people happy is that Tyler Tippett has agreed to take over shirt design from me. So I know the person who I am horrible with names, but William's going to help me out. The person who gave the graphic for this,
Crazy Vulcan.
I'm going to get your information over to Tyler Tippett, and he's going to work with you on designing shirts because he's much better at it than I am.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting. If you haven't checked that out, it's very easy. We're going to have it linked in the description down below. We have it showing it up here on screen for anybody who's watching at home. And if you could help Team USA keep chipping away. As for me streaming, Marcel, wrong button. It looks like it's a maybe right now. Lord Isophane himself decided to join us on the earthly plane, and we had a discussion, and he said, what do I need to do to make this happen? And I was like, this face. I was like, and he goes, just let me know. And I was like, okay. So it's probably happening. We'll see what happens.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah. So that was that. Before we jump into premiere events, though, I want to take a second and say the Wave 2 Hyperspace trial events have gone live. So if you haven't seen that, FFG published on their website already the list of the Hyperspace trials. And I will say that this time I'm actually much happier in the way that they're presenting it, because now it's presented in date order rather than state alphabetical order, which is what it was last time, which was dumb because it was hard to follow. But now it's in beautiful, thank you so much, FFG, alphabetical order, and it includes the our Hyperspace trial right there at Pastimes Comics and Games in Niles, happening September 7th. So if you want to join us, the home of Gold Squadron, let's make it happen. We always do amazing prizes. Of course, we will be streaming the event. And now that I see all these events, I got to start filling up my calendar with some Hyperspace trial action all the way through November, apparently. So we'll get that stuff done. And this weekend, I will actually be streaming a Hyperspace trial from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'll be partnering with Team Covenant and covering their event. We'll be starting at 6 p.m. on Friday for Flight 1. And then we have the next day, all day, we have Flight 2 and the cut. And then no stream on Sunday, but Sunday night we'll have our Echo Base in the evening. Just wanted to take a second and talk about that. Okay, premiere action time. Are you ready, guys?
Let's do it.
Can you handle it?
No, but we'll try.
We'll figure it out, right? So I want to start by talking about UK Nationals. That happened first, and you already talked about
The winner.
about the
I
winner.
didn't
Yeah,
say the guy's name is Bartos, but yeah.
yeah, Bartos.
Yeah, Bartos. Yeah.
Bartos W. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. W.
From now on, we just call him competition.
The enemy. All right, let's take a look here at the spreadsheet. So what I did is basically took the information from List Fortress, which is great, but it doesn't allow you to put it in any like specific order or anything like that. So I just did a little data entry here so that we can get it in order and get a really good idea of what's going on here. So let's go ahead and enhance a little bit for those of you who are watching and reading from home. So they had what looks to be a top 32 cut. Looks like a couple of people couldn't make day 2, so they let some people who were like 35th in the actual rankings go in. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I wasn't at the event. We have most of the list in here. And I want to start by talking about the winning list, and that was Bartos' list, which was 5 RZ2 A-Wings. That's the Resistance A-Wings. We've talked about them being really, really great. Marcel, you've flown a bit of A-Wings. What are your thoughts on the list?
Yeah, actually, really, when I was watching it on stream, I was excited to see it. They had it, and I was also following the. I'm in a group chat with Bartos, and yeah, just following it, and he ended up beating Jack Mooney in the top 4. Everybody by now knows Jack Mooney and Handbrake solo, whatever. So he ended up beating him in the top 4. Jack Mooney was in another streak of like 10 wins in a row or something like that, some crazy stuff. I was excited, and then you guys know, like, Kayla's been flying that for forever, right? The 5 A-Wings.
Yeah.
And she was starting to get a little disheartened because she couldn't beat Rebel Beef, and she saw this in the top and in the final. It was like, wait. And then we actually started asking in chat, like, is this Hyperspace? Because I'm seeing A-Wings and Republic in the final table. Like, are we? Did we miss something? No, this is a extended game, and saw this. Yeah, I don't know. I think you know what I think. I think the European continent got together and said, for the good of our sanity, we will not fly Quad Phantoms.
Is that what happened? They decided to just be better people than the Americans?
They did, and I'm looking at the top 34, and it looks like there's one person who tried to backstab. There's one Quad Phantom in the all top 34 that's
traitor.
Tested. So that person, that was probably somebody who flew in from the U.S. or something. That's what I'm thinking.
He took the crack shot because he knew all the other. Yeah, nobody else was flying Phantoms, so he didn't need the bid.
Yeah, it's, actually, looks like an Italian, Denny de Sicily. So Sicily, there you go. It's a Lily. But I was excited to see that. I was excited to see a top match without Quad Phantoms or Rebel Beef in it.
Yeah, so Bartos decided to go the route of heroic and advanced optics on all of the A-Wings, and it looks like a couple of them had crack shot. That was Tally and Lulo.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised to see that because, with Lulo and Tally kind of want that initiative, so if they get the choice to get the initiative, but I'm assuming that he thought any other initiative 5s would have a pretty heavy bid, so why waste those points?
Mm-hmm. I mean, seems good. So the 5 A-wing list, I'm gonna call it, like, even though we haven't seen it and extended too much, it's a bit of a known quantity, right? Like we've seen the list used to great effect in hyperspace. But I want to talk about Sam Davies' list. So Sam brought a triple Jedi list, but they're not the Jedi that you're probably thinking. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it up here on the screen. So we had here a 200-point triple Jedi Starfighter list. So we had Luminara, Sassy Tin, and Mace Windu, all of them with R2 Astromech, all of them with Delta 7B, and Mace Windu had the Sense Force upgrade card, which allows you during the system phase to choose one ship at range 0 to 1 and look at its dial. If you spend one Force, you may choose a ship at range 0 to 3. So you're taking a look there. Now, so this doesn't lean on initiative, right? It's all initiative Force, so you have some flexibility there. Will, what do you think of this list?
That's interesting. I'm surprised that it's all Force. Didn't reach for those the 5s, but I guess once you go for the higher initiative, everything gets more expensive, including that 7B, because it's it's costed per initiative. Now, I think the Sense is really smart. Mace Windu has a very good Force economy, especially if he's doing a lot of red maneuvers, because that gives him an extra Force that round, which he could then basically use one Force for Sense, K-turn, and still have a Force modifier for the round. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm looking at the other two abilities. Luminar has actually been, I think, a sleeper hit. It's described as sensor jammer. Sound the first edition air horn, but basically you can get people to change their results into hits. Is that right? Am I thinking of the right one?
Yeah, you take crits to hits and hits to focuses.
Yep.
That's right. So, yeah. I think that's really good. And let's see, what is the other ones? CC-10 says, yes. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 reveals its dial, you may spend one Force charge. If you do, set its dial to another maneuver of the same speed and difficulty. Now, I'm interested to know how many times he would actually end up using this ability, but I think it does mix very well with Sense, because you could, for instance, change Mace Windu's K-turn, or excuse me, from a K-turn to, say, a 2 sloop, by knowing how a ship is flying. So I think
she can also use her own. She can use it for herself too.
Correct. Yeah. She only's got 2 Force charges, so she can't change everybody's dial that round. But it says if you do, set its dial to another maneuver of the same speed and difficulty. So that wouldn't let you actually change the K-turn, but it would let you choose which sloop. Is that right? Yeah.
You can alter the sloops. You can bank in the opposite direction. You can hard turn in the opposite direction. 4 straight versus... No, I guess the 4 and 5 would be the same.
Yeah, it has to be the same. It has to be the same difficulty.
Right.
Which is weird for the blue versus white maneuvers, but I think the small little combos of actually like what you could pull off with these maneuverable ships of like, if you can see somebody's dial, like especially for like, I doubt there's a TIE Swarm in there, but I saw a lot of the
Separatist.
Separatist, or even Juke Phantoms. That once you only need to know where one of that formation is going. You only need to peek at one dial, then you should be able to know where everyone else is going.
I was just thinking that, this is probably a really good list against Quad Phantoms. Because Quad Phantoms, most of the time, want to take the initiative so that they can decloak, right? Mm-hmm. Then you use Sense to see what the maneuver is. or even just, I mean, yeah, you can see what the maneuver is, and then you use Sassy Tin to make sure that at least 2 of your Jedi are in the right spot. Because the Jedi usually want to create those 50-50 decisions for you, and by using that effect, whether you went left or right, you can flip it. I like that.
Yeah, and you said that they all have healing droids as well, correct? The R2
Yeah,
droids.
all of them have R2 astromech.
So that would be another thing. If you say Luminar is about to head into a kill box, CC-10 are gonna be like, no, go the other way and go heal quick.
Nah, girl, don't do that.
Do not do that. So no, it's surprisingly, I can see it having a lot of play. You can gain a lot of information and be able to change it utilizing those abilities. So, and P.S. when in a world where every initiative matters, this is a very interesting list.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at it, the top list, it definitely was, for me, just at first glance, the one that made me go, huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it's quite cool. So some of the other just archetypes that we see here going through the top cut in the top.
These Brits love Han Solo.
Yeah. So in the top 4, we had Jack Mooney with Han Jake. The other top 4 lists we don't have documented. When we start looking in the top 8, we got one of our favorite British players, Darren Granger, flying that Rebel Beef, Rasta Mace, running Han Jake. We have some more Han. We have the Lock Revenants. We have Quad Phantoms, more Lock Revenants. So, I mean, a lot of the known commodities, we get something a little bit different once we get down to the top 16. We have the Quad Fang Fighters, flown by Ali of the 186. Darren Sharp brings Darth Maul, Hate, Grievous, Count Dooku, and 5 Federation drones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, top 16, yep.
Yep, top 16 there. So, I mean, lots of
Hills, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and then, yeah, just for bringing Anakin, Obi-Wan, and a Gold Trooper. So, I mean, just at first glance, looking at, this top 32, it looks like, your choices were Rebel Beef, Grand Republic, AC stuff, or some type of swarm was the majority of it. Of course, we are missing quite a few important lists, but it is there is definitely still a trend here.
I think it's humbling to see that people are figuring out or able to fly. Maybe that's it. People are actually able to fly those Trade Federation drones and energy shells, and a couple variety of lists. It looks like 2 of them were Seer, no turn down for Watts, but
Seer is good. Crack shots. I mean, you struggle once you get past, once you start burning through your calculates a little.
I feel like I never have enough calculates for the crack shots, but
permanent crack shots are not bad.
No. I can't argue that. Seer is good. I just like when Watt can double modify his range once and get 4 hits. I'm the Braylon now.
I'm kind of disappointed in one player here.
Oh, who is it?
Mr. Fan
Why are you mad at Fan Long? He brought his quad K-Wings.
That's why. It's quad K-Wings.
You're acting like he brought Quad Phantoms or Rebel Beef.
Yeah, Quad K-Wings is just
but they had agreed to not bring Quad Phantoms over there, as it turns out, by this. So, I've always pictured like Fawn as like an AC flyer, but no, it's good that he can do this with this. And it's interesting that, even across the pond, you're still seeing a lot of names that just keep popping up over and over and over and over again. It's a lot of the names that make it out here. And they have a ton of players, obviously, by the kind of turnouts that they get. So, it's kind of scary. how many good players they have over there.
And remember, we're going over there.
Oh, we're taking over. We're gonna call it. We're gonna call it the European United States of across the pond or something like that. We'll come up with something horrible for them.
I'm sure they're going to be working hard though. Like they definitely do not want us flying over there and showing them up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they came over here and won Worlds, but it's Worlds, so that's kind of okay. Like if they come over here and win Gen Con or Nova, then that's an issue. It's not like the Howards going up and taking Canada. It's not disrespect like that. It's Worlds.
Fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and flip over to Seattle, which is a little bit more relevant to what we did in real life. We streamed the Seattle System Open, and we were live on the ground there. We have all the lists. We got everything we need, and we can talk a little bit about our experiences. We'll start by talking about the champion. That was Daniel Taylor. If you remember that name, he was the runner-up the week before at the Atlanta System Open, and then brings the same list and is just ripping through people to try to get that championship title. Will, you said it earlier. I don't know if we were live yet, but who did you lose to during the Seattle System Open?
My last two games, round 5 was Andrew Bunn, and round 6 was Daniel Taylor. And
so the 1 and the 2 seed.
I had a lengthy discussion with both of them of pleading. I mean, borderline begging, but being like, guys, I know you have invites. I've seen your games. Like, I'm just trying to get my invite, guys. And they're like, but we're trying to win. I was like, well, I better see you on the final table then.
And then they did.
Yeah, and they did. So I guess, and same thing with Daniel, like in our last game, which I thought was very funny because I basically stole his list. I ended up going with the Rebel beef, the B-Wing beef. There's a lot of beef around here. You got to specify what kind of cut of beef you're actually taking. And I thought it was very interesting as like a very rhythmic and almost like robotic player myself. I thought it was very interesting playing Daniel because we were doing like almost the exact same moves. We had the exact same like plan for our opening and stuff, and just like working through the list like I said, like a rhythm. Mm-hmm. And it was very interesting to see and play against it. Obviously, they're both great players, and we got into the finals of this. And Daniel takes it all, which is amazing. To go back-to-back finals, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's a good player. Obviously, he's good at games. Like I've said before, he was a 3-time Imperial Assault champion. A bane in the side of Paul Heaver, who's tried to do that several times in the Imperial Assault Worlds when that was going on. So, obviously, very, very good tactical mind there. Andrew Bunn was the runner-up, flying Colonel Jendon, Major Vinder, which is known as Hatchet Man, if you guys have heard that. That is that specific ship, Major Vinder. Then paired it with Sunterfell, Lone Wolf, and Stealth Device. And like we said earlier, all these games are recorded and will be put up. I know, I've been getting emails, Dion, where are the videos from Atlanta? I'm behind. I will admit I'm behind. With the back-to-back, and also this being the last 2 weeks of school, I've been a little bit crazy. Things will start going up. I'll probably be uploading about 2 games a day to try to get caught up, guys. So thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate it. Let's keep going down here. In the top 4, we had Bradley Ho flying what we'll call the classic Hatchet Man list, which was flown at the Denver System Open by Andrew Knuckles, that having Colonel Jendon, Major Vinder, and Darth Vader. And then this is where we had a list that took me extremely by surprise. Andy Myers, he is a player out of Minnesota. He brought 4 T-70 X-Wings. 3 of them were the Red Squadron experts with just heroic and jamming beam, but let's be honest, nobody fires a jamming beam. And Jess Pava.
So I think this was a really long time ago, but I think me and Marcel went back and forth about this list of whether the heroics were better or whether putting Bastion and BB droids in the list was better. I think actually, Marcel, you got a lot of table time with this list. Was it you who was flying it, or was Kayla?
No, it was Kayla flying it, and after trying heroic a lot, she kind of settled on not heroic. She got more use out of crack shot.
But yeah, we both decided like this is technically a good list, but it's basically inconsistent. It's hard to get consistent wins off of it.
Yeah, the problem is, because it telegraphs a little bit, right? And I saw the game. I saw one of the games where Andy was basically cornering. Who was it? Was he cornering Andrew Bunn and then just ended up losing by a little bit?
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, just Andy was doing some pretty crazy stuff with it. You can't expect everyone to be flying like that. And then on top of that, I mean, it has a lot of beef. It has 7 hull, and it puts out pretty consistent damage with with 3 attack dice. But if you think about it, I mean, 7 hull. What else has 7 hull? I mean,
Defenders,
gunboats. No, I'm just saying gunboats. Gunboats have 7 hull and 2 shields. I mean, 2 agility. The only difference is they're running 2 attack dice. I don't know. It's just a good solid list. I mean, I've always had trouble against it just because it's so hard to burn through one of them. And
That one additional health makes a huge difference.
A huge difference, yeah, big difference, and also the native boost, the ability to be able to the boost versus the barrel roll makes a big difference. In this, so.
Yeah, and just on the T-70 platform itself, the ability on the backside when your wings are closed, not only do you have access to the barrel roll and focus linked actions, but the fact that if you still line up that bullseye, you still get your full dice, creates a lot of options for you. And when we were streaming, it was me and Ryan Farmer. Farmer was my co-host. It was really interesting to look at all the possibilities he had if you wanted to think about those barrel rolls and the different types of formations he can create, or excuse me, how he can split off the formations depending on how he started. I really enjoyed his games. We got him on stream twice, I think. I would definitely check those out once those go up. Very cool. Then into the top 8, we had Garrett Jost, who was the winner of the Minot Open. That happened in November of last year. Running a scum list, Old Tarak, Cavill, and Ketsu Onyo. Very much built to just kill quad phantoms. It's very good against quad phantoms. Swapping out, if you guys remember Old Para flying a very similar list, having Talonbane instead of Cavill. Very effective. We got Garrett on stream as well, and you saw a very, very patient Garrett Jost be able to dismantle a 5-ship rebel list. That was quite good. We had a couple more players bringing quad phantoms in the top 8, being able to secure that world's invite. Patrick Steitch brings a couple of Gold Squadron troopers, Mace and Anakin. Pretty common Grand Republic list. I keep saying Grand Republic because I don't want to say Galactic Republic. So sorry, I've been getting corrected by people. I know it's Galactic, but I need to differentiate it in my mind. Then we'll just take another peek here at the top 16 because we had a perfect top 16 cut here. We had Andrew Lawrenson bringing Anakin, Mace, and Wolf. We had a couple Lock Revenants, more Rebel Beef, and I want to talk about 2 of the more interesting lists. We had Blair Bunky bringing 5 Z-95 Bandit Squadron pilots and 2 Blue Squadron a Blue Squadron pilot, which is the B-wing, and a Blue Squadron escort, which is an X-wing. Makes it into the top 16. Thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Why doesn't he have a jamming cannon? And
because it's a waste of space.
Oh, okay, sure. I'm actually surprised he didn't take a tractor beam. Went with the hull upgrade instead. I would imagine the tractor beam would give a lot of control on there. But getting to 9 health on the B-wing is a pretty good bar to hit. That's a lot of health. And so let's see, you have 5-ship mini swarm. You got a tanky, basically assault platform. And then you have a fast flank ship that has a 4 forward and a boost. So it's just breaking down X-Wing to its like extreme fundamentals. And that's just what Blair do.
Yep. Like when I saw him carrying around the list, and I was like, "Yep, that's Blair." Very well known for bringing, just a mass of ships and a master at creating those nets that just, suffocate you and you die. You go.
Yeah, I think that goes back. I forgot where we were talking about it. I don't know if it was probably on the Minoc, how they do that academy thingy. Mm-hmm. That academy thing that's not nearly as good as anything you do, Dion, of course. But I was on there.
It's not a competition.
But it totally is. The thing that I was saying on there is like, one of the things about being good, or maybe it was on this one last week when we were talking about what it takes to be good, is finding out like what you're good at. And then, Blair is a perfect example of that. Like, who else is going to take a bunch of Z95s? Like, you don't even see Z95s on the board anymore, and do that kind of stuff. I mean, that's crazy person talk.
I would take them if they had better missiles.
Well, that's the whole thing. I would take them if they were cheaper. I would take them if they had better missiles. I would take them if they had torpedoes instead of missiles. I would take them if they were all Initiative 6 and were called Centrafel.
And Blair says, I don't need missiles, and 2 dice is enough, right?
Something like that.
Yep.
Actually, 2 dice goes a long way now in 2.0 versus 1.0, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, until you're chasing Soontir or trying to shoot from around range 1.
Yeah.
True. Well, that's why you get some at range 2, right?
Well, that's fair. The first one's blocking, and the other ones are 1 forwarding.
That's right. Then another list I wanted to point out here was Wyand Cohort bringing a 5-ship rebel jank here. He's able to take 2 rebel A-wings into the top 16 here. So we had Arvel Krenid with Intimidation and Predator, which we actually saw used at the Atlanta System Open by Sam Talley. Which, I actually had a good discussion with him talking about why is this so good? How do you? And it's one of his favorite tools right now in Rebels. Then Jake Farrell, which we've seen use a lot with the Han Solo, right? Just it's a support ship. It's squirrely, a lot of options there with Crackshot and Predator. Then rounding the list out with 2 Z95s here, we had Lieutenant Blount with Crackshot, Aaron Kraken with Crackshot, and Nora Wexley in the Y-Wing with Crackshot, Ion Cannon Turret, R4 Astromech, and Veteran Turret Gunner. Very cool. What thoughts, gentlemen?
It's super interesting. I mean, why have 1 flank when you can have 2 A-wings flanking? And we've seen Blunt before. He was actually pretty popular at the Coruscant, just because he's I think one of the cheapest 3 dice guns you can get. But the Aaron Kraken, I don't think I've seen competitively since 2nd edition came out. But in this list, you can actually start doing some interesting things, especially with Nora, because she's got the R4 Astromech. She can easily clear the stress. If you're not familiar, Aaron Kraken gives you after he shoots, he can hand out a red action, which allows Nora to basically barrel roll in for a range 1 double tap with the iron can. Wait, does he have a gunner on there?
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, you can barrel roll Nora, which is you can't get worse than reds. Same way with Blount. I believe on stream he was using Aaron Kraken to barrel roll Blount to try to keep him safe. I don't think it worked out though for him. I think Ketsu caught him with the tractor beam.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. There's a lot of working parts there, and if you can get it all to work together, obviously you can win a lot of games with it.
Absolutely. So that's our look at the top 16 list wise. But Will, let's talk about how things went for you in your other matches. What'd you fly? Let's talk about your experience in hyperspace and stuff like that. You have the floor.
Okay, so I took B-Wing Beef to the Open. Had a lot of good matchups. I faced Isaiah, who was flying the same thing, and our game was just hilarious. At one point, I think every ship was touching another ship, if that makes sense. Like we just kept jousting. We just never stopped crashing into each other until there was just decided. There's that game against Isaiah was super funny because we were trying to keep our wedges alive, but every time one of our ships was about to die, like his Tin Nub was about to die and my Cassian was about to die, and both of our wedges are just trying to like jump into range 1. Like we just got to get into range 1 and make that ship pilot skill 6 so it can shoot. And it was very interesting to fly the list. I got some thoughts on the B-Wing Beef, and it's not as easy as what people make it out to be. There's definitely like some planning and skill involved in that list, and I just think that it does have a what do I want to say, a high floor. Like it's not hard to just like one forward and wait for the enemy to come into your arcs. Like that can win you games, sure. But when you start doing, it's like the little tactical things, the scummy things that I enjoy, when you like just hard one a B-Wing into another ship so it basically doesn't move. Give it a red stop so it can keep its arc on something is very interesting. And just like it's got a little bit of resource management to it, as far as like Cassian can only clear 1 stress and you gotta wait for Leia and things like that. And who do you swarm, right? But I will say, after flying the B-Wing Beef for quite a few games, I think I got 8 straight games in with it, including 2 practice games. That what bothers me, and it became like a running joke during the tournament, and I really started to disapprove of it. Was basically, Braylon moves, and I guess I'll focus fail a barrel roll. Oh, 10 moves, and I guess he will fail a barrel roll. Like that is the worst thing I've ever heard of right now in X-Wing, and that, like, you should not be rewarded for failing an action. You guys can agree with me on that, right?
Right, but I would say like those 2 ships are the ones that off the top of my mind are the only ones that benefit from failing an action. Am I right about that?
I don't think anybody else does. Nobody else likes being stressed. Maybe I can't think of another pilot that likes being stressed. Now we've had like composure builds, but no one's actually like cracked the code on composure of like failing actions to chain up something crazy or whatever. And I think that if
I guess Lulu's the other one.
That's right. Yeah, Lulu's like, oh, I guess I'll fail a boost. Like, cool, Lulu.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, that's just like, it's not thematic. I mean, I guess it's a little thematic because like every time I mention it, so here's their cockpit on the B-Wing and here's the B-Wing's kind of strut. And for some reason, those pilots just love it when the whole B-wing just starts spinning around the cockpit as crazy as it can. And like that's what improves their accuracy or something, I guess. But that's just super weird. And I posted on Minoc when Brian was talking about it that while we hate rotting cards at this point in the game, I 100% think that if B-wings, all B-wings, but those two B-wings in particular, if they had barrel linked focus like every other ship in the game, it would not be a problem. That there would be normal ships. The Cassian and Leia is fun. Like that's a support ship. Like it should be supporting. So I can't blame Cassian for the problem. But I think after, like I said, eight straight games of it, I've narrowed down that it's focus linked barrel roll. I'm trying to think of other ships outside of like A-wings, silencers, interceptors, things with like ship abilities that let them link. What other ship has a token linked reposition outside of we were just discussing X-wings? The closed side of X-wings have focus linked barrel roll or focus linked boost. But is there anybody else who's got token linked barrel roll? A lot of the bombers and stuff have barrel linked target lock, or Punishers have boost linked target lock. But it's just a very, very slim amount of ships that actually have that token linked reposition. And maybe it's on purpose, but
somebody like it's TIE Advance is what's coming in.
Oh yeah, they have focus linked barrel roll. That's fair.
Right. Well, maybe it's just for the
No, Inquisitors.
The Inquisitors do.
No, they have boost linked focus. Guaranteed.
Oh, you're saying focus first?
Token
A-wings.
Well, yeah, all the A-wings and interceptors and silencers have it. That can do that, but they don't benefit from being stressed, though. It's actually a penalty outside of Lulu.
Well, you can't say that. And it's not a penalty. They got like a million blues on them.
Well, there's easy ways, at least in that list, right, to just get rid of the stress anyway.
Everybody in the chat you're posting reposition linked token, and I'm looking for token linked reposition.
Right. Well, I mean, then maybe the solution is that those B-wings got to go up, right? That's the easiest way to solve.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think that Cassian helps, but Leia right now is like a strong centerpiece of Rebel Beef. Right. Apparently, you don't need it. There's a lot of lists who aren't flying Leia, which is a good sign that it's not required. It's just really nice to have. But after discussing it with a couple of people this weekend, I got a new suggestion. My suggestion for Leia is that it's 2 base +1 for each other ship than the Leia carrier in the list.
Oh, okay. As a variable point cost.
Variable pricing.
2 points +1 for every ship in the list.
Every other ship. So it basically is a minimum of 3 because you got to have 2 ships.
Right.
But so that would make the standard 4-ship Leia cost 5 points then. 5 points. I don't know how to aim my hand. I don't know what to do with my hands. But yeah, after thinking about that, I think Leia does need to go up to about 5 points. Cassian's fine. He just triggers with the B-wings really weird. I don't know. The list is okay. It's probably cheaper than what it should be. But the B-wings just went down. So I don't... But of course, Leia just went down a whole bunch though too. So I think it's a compound of a lot of things.
Right. And I think, when the points adjustment comes, which is coming soon, the FFG actually announced a date, right? It's June 26th. Is that right?
26th or 27th. It's the last week of June.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they do and how they handle it, right? This being the second points adjustment, how aggressive are they going to be? I'm pretty sure. I would hope that Quad Phantoms gets a shotgun to the face. Like, it should happen, right? Like that can't be allowed to happen anymore. Most likely, I think with the Rebel Beef, this Wedge, Braylon, Tennub, Cassian with Leia, what should probably happen is that all the pieces get a slight increase, but nothing gets blown out of the water, so that it's still viable. Because the pieces, I think, are it's close, right? It's just it has a lot of tools right now, and a little bit too many tools that so many people are using it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see what they do.
I mean, remind me if I'm wrong here, but originally in second edition, Rebels were the worst faction back in the day when there was only three. Back in the day when there was only, I remember when there was only 3 factions in second edition, and I think we at the time of like the Gold Squadron Classic and Crossroads team event. What is that called?
The Outrider Cup.
Outrider Cup. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Rebels the worst faction at that point in time?
Yeah, there was a lot of the X-Wings were overpriced, if I remember correctly. Was that
X-Wings didn't change in price though? Wedge is still the same.
What changed? I know it's hard to remember the past.
B-Wings went down and Y-Wings went down significantly. Right. That's when we started seeing the 5 Rebels and things, or the 5 Y-Wing, the Y-Ons and stuff like that. So I hate to say, like, to have things priced out of existence, because I want to see Leia on the board. I think it's cool to have like a namesake character like that on the board for a lot of Rebel lists, but we just got to see the balance. I mean, on a positive note, change is coming, so fly while you can.
I love my B-Wings. Yeah, and we're gonna get back to talking about balance, because actually our question of the week directly has to do with this question. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
All right, I got off topic.
That's fine. That's
like I said, I'm not talking in theory or like from matches. Like I said, eight straight games to this Rebel Beef. Really had time to just take it in and analyze it. And I would say it's got a high floor but an extreme ceiling, which is very interesting in a list. I played in the qualifier, Hyperspace qualifier.
Yep.
On Sunday, and I did okay. I had a little help from ISOFan. Thanks, ISOFan. Apparently, he's not going to Worlds, and he, as a big fan of the show, obviously everybody knows ISOFan. He knows I was still hunting my Worlds ticket. And he just saw my new friend Rob. There it is, ISOFan. Thank you, ISOFan. He just saw my new friend Rob that I met out there bring me a plate of chicken tacos, and I was like, oh, I didn't have time to eat these at lunch. And he was like, well, let's make it a quick game then. And we basically just lined up and jousted each other. And it was marked down that I got the win. So big appreciation from ISOFan. It didn't help me though, because
you're not muted. You said you're muted, but you're truly not muted.
He is muted. I can see he's muted. Shh, Marcel.
Oh, he's muted. Am I muted?
No, you're not muted.
I don't know why, because I'm eating chips. I've probably been eating chips.
All right. Anyways, I got like 30 more seconds of my story, Marcel. Then we're jumping in.
Got it. And you're cheating. Yeah, I got it.
I was not cheating.
Isofan is cheating. Got it.
I don't
One of
know.
you cheated.
I offered the handshake. I was down to one vulture. I was like, this was a fun game, and I offered the handshake, and he said no. I'm offering you a handshake. I was like, all right, okay. I mean, whatever, it works. But we only did 5 rounds for I guess time restrictions. I didn't know that was allowed, but
Yeah, in the rules of the Hyperspace trial, it says 5 or 6 rounds depending on event space limitations.
All right. Well, we did 5 rounds. I had a great game. I think with all my opponents, all my games were really close. Obviously, I'm flying turn down for Watt, which is arguably a bad list, but it flies well. It's always interesting to me flying turn down for Watt when 2 vultures just go die without shooting, but then I can make it a game eventually. So there's some merit to it. Obviously,
Just got to get those first couple vultures out of your system, you know?
Yeah, I bring extras so that that's why I bring 6, because I assume one's gonna die. But I had a really, really close game. Came down to 6 points difference, and I apologize to the guy. I went out with dinner with him that night, and we went and celebrated. But I forget the guy's name. But it came within 6 points of a win. 100 things happened in the last round for like changing points and stuff of who was in the lead. The lead kept shifting back and forth between us. But
Patrick Hansen's his name.
Oh, really?
Patrick.
Okay.
Yep. Totally knew that. I didn't read it off the chat.
Didn't read it off the chat.
Nope.
All right. Well, it came down to I expected his Luke to K-turn behind WAP.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, well, I'm going to try to barrel roll and make sure that K-turn ends up either I'm out of arc or if he Talon rolls the wrong way, Watt's out of arc. If he 4Ks, I'm at range 2. And guaranteed Watt will have arc on his Braylon. Turns out he didn't 4K, he just won forwards. And target locks Watt. I was like, no. Yeah. So he target locks Watt and takes his points, and he ends up winning by 6, which is a very close game. So it came down to if I decided to boost with Watt, I would have denied the shot and won the game, which is outrageous. Very close game. I no longer not because of this events, but I no longer care about getting the invite because there's less chance. So as long as I get in the last chance, tickets are on sale the 29th, I think.
Like that. Now, here's a side question. Here's a tangent.
Yes.
Do we really think, so they have space for 400 people. Do we really think, so here's my thought process. They have 400 spots for the last chance qualifier. They say top 64 and all unclaimed seats will be given away at the last chance qualifier.
Did they say that, or
It is. It's in the article.
it's saying all remaining seats will be given?
Yes,
Right.
because there's 2 flights of 200.
Let me restate that.
Worlds.
Let me put it a different way. So they did say all remaining free wins for the people that actually know how to play are going to get invites.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
You guys are slow. It took you guys a minute.
But yeah, they're doing 2 flights of 400. 2 flights of 200, which will make 400 total players in X-Wing Worlds.
No. Okay. Is it just 400? I thought it was more. I thought they were going with. Are you sure?
Was it 400?
I'm 100% sure. It's the reason Last Chance is 400 players is because they're using the Destiny place, like the Destiny tables
the Destiny
that day.
space.
Right. So then the first flight of X-Wing is also the first day of Destiny.
Okay, because I was thinking it was going to be 800 Worlds players.
No. 400 seats available.
Okay.
And now we did this. We keep doing this math of like how many tickets they gave away.
Right.
But assuming they
Somebody actually did it right here. So they said, this is Peck 61480. Said there are 16 system opens giving 128 seats and 129 from Hyperspace. We can guess 5 more for each system open. Hyperspace 80 and 64 from the Last Chance. That's 401 without the Nationals, which will give to the top 4 for each, plus 59 more overseas Hyperspace.
Yeah, but also you got to take into account that
Not everybody's gonna go, right?
Not only that, not everybody's going, but also half. I would say 4 out of the top 8 at every system open will have multiple invites. Half, and that's a low figure. I mean, when we were in Bloomington, we had 6 out of 8 in the top 8 have invites already.
In the trials, the invite goes down, but in the opens, it does not.
So it just
What I'm
disappears.
saying is repeat. For example, Daniel Taylor, the 9th place person did not get an invite.
Correct. Yes.
Neither did Andrew Bunn. So they dream crushed and they took somebody else's spot. So that's what I'm saying. Like half of the people in the system opens, you can assume have multiple invites. Reasonably, it's a reasonable assumption.
Yes. So I think that there will be unclaimed spots. I think there. We just saw the math that they're overestimating by a little bit because of the international community, but it sounds like that it will be plenty of space, at least for the extra top 60 for the Last Chance. I can do it. That'll be me. That'll be this guy.
That's that guy.
I guess there's there's a couple new hyperspaces cropping up now too. September in Chicago is going to be a rough one, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and especially with the new hyperspace trials, supposedly there's new prizes. So
yep, there's
okay, sign me up for 7 of them.
Hopefully no more black dice. I hate them. I don't like them.
I'm over them too.
Anybody listening, talking about dice, I have now, it's taken me a couple years, but I regret selling my gold and silver Worlds dice from whatever year that was. So if you have a pair, message me. I may give some money for them.
He wants to play. He paid the iron price and now needs to pay the gold price.
Oh no, I sold for the iron price.
That's why you got him with the iron price. Your blood, sweat, and tears.
No, I sold them for the iron price. Like when I won them, I sold them at a pretty cheap cost. Pretty cheap. No, not that cheap. Like I guess I sold them for like $600, but still cheap enough. I mean,
what? That's I can live for months on that, dude.
Live off these dice.
Yeah, my definition here in Iowa of cheap is apparently much different.
Okay. Anyway, if you have gold and silver dice, send me a message because I want 1 pair of each. I sold all of them. I didn't have the foresight to think maybe I want to keep 1 pair, but I didn't keep any pair.
All right. Well, let's continue on here. I want to talk about our unloved ship of the week. Our unloved ship of the week is the Resistance YT-1300. On its inception, a lot of people were trying to bring Rey, because Rey is Bay, and I get it. We've seen some people kind of do some trollolo things with Han Solo, namely our man James out of Gold Squadron bringing. There's a couple videos if you haven't seen of him bringing Han Solo and Rey together and using Han Solo as a coordinate carrier using the C-3PO crew. It was hilarious.
Well, Han Solo in Resistance took when I was 4-1 took me out of the Adepticon cut. The Resistance Han Solo.
All right, well, let's talk about it a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What were they doing with that made it good? Was it just because it was I-6? Or what
No,
was happening?
actually, so he was flying Han Solo with some stuff on it. I don't even know what. And he had Poe Dameron.
That was the seasoned navigator style
Yeah,
of Han Solo.
Probably. And he had Poe Dameron with like the whole shenanigans, torpedoes, and like moving to eyes and advanced sensoring and doing all that happy stuff. And I actually had initiative with Cornhorn. Basically similar list to what I took to Toronto. The only difference is I had bumped it down to an AP5 instead of Cassian. And it was. So what did Han Solo and Poe do right that game? I guess they did right. They did 6 damage on Cornhorn in one turn when Cornhorn was rolling 8 dice because he was hiding with an evade token and behind 2 debris. Not debris. Debris, the stress ones. So I guess they rolled better than me. But he won 5-1. So even though I do call that a dice game, that last game, I mean, it was just like, and even in the last turn, it was just 4 health, Poe Dameron against a 4 health Wedge. I had target lock. He had stress and nothing, and he killed me. I did 1 damage. So that was a dice game. But he got to 4-1, and he made the cut. So he did stuff right, and he beat me, and he did stuff right. Like whatever the dice were, he put himself in position to where the dice mattered. You know, there's other games where the dice don't matter. So he did everything necessary to make the dice matter.
So Marcel, let me walk you through about how he was able to get those shots so easily. Now let's take a look at. We can see on the dial here that their banks are blue, 2-speed maneuvers, 2 blue bank. And let me read you this. The card that combos with those 2 bank blues very well. It's called Season Navigator. It says after you reveal your dial, you may set your dial to another non-red maneuver of the same speed. While you execute that maneuver, increase its difficulty. So what this allows Han to do is basically set in a hard 2 in one direction. Okay. And when he reveals it, that allows him to choose any of the 2 forward or the 2 bank in the opposite direction with essentially no penalty. Because it reduces the difficulty from blue to white, it essentially doesn't change anything, right? It doesn't stress him, doesn't mean anything. And that's how we were talking about how like the Aether sprites allowing to go either direction, left or right. It's a big trick with Boba and Slave 1. You make sure that left and right always work. And a seasoned navigator, Han Solo, basically abuses the seasoned navigator to where you always have the other option available. And if you're moving last, you have full board knowledge, and it could get you into, especially with an engine upgrade, allowing you to change from hard 2 right to 2 bank left boost is very significant. We did a whole thing about how Handbrake has 8 final positions to move. These seasoned navigators do the same thing. They in fact have 4, 8, 12, 16, 17. They have 17 different positions they could end up as long as they dial in a hard 2.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing against another initiative or a couple initiative 6 or another initiative 6, and you don't have.
Yeah. Normally, like you described it, this is a 2-ship build that is going to give you a lot of points for initiative.
Yeah. And I had initiative on that guy, and I'm so sad. I'm triggered still.
Triggered.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. You grab trick shot, engine upgrade, season navigator. That's a 90-point Han Solo. You can grab another crew member or a ray gunner.
You know what that Han Solo's missing, though, right?
What?
An autopilot.
Oh well.
How do you get autopilot over to the
Wrong.
I know they got the robots.
Wrong
in the
segment.
resistance.
Wrong segment, Marcel.
Okay.
Dion.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with Ray or Chewbacca, or the sympathizer?
Personally, I have not taken the time to put it on the table. The one that I've always kind of been curious about is the Resistance Sympathizer, that low initiative one, and it's similar with the Rebel version, and even the Scum version. Like the lowest initiative Falcon doesn't ever seem to get very much play. So it's just something I've been curious about. You know, you don't see it out there.
I would want to be boosting with it, which means you got to pay for the engine upgrade, so you can start getting some blocks in with it. Man, I'm trying to think of who it was. I think his name was Bob. That's not very descriptive, but
No, yeah, Bob from St. Louis.
Do you know what I'm talking about? He flew double sympathizer
In first edition, yeah.
Yeah, but he had a bunch of passive mods on it.
Yeah.
Allowing them to be able to do these boosts and things like that. And you just can't really get them. I mean, you have Ray Gunner, I guess. You have Rose Crew, who is a way to get semi-passive mods while you're kind of boosting around. I think the problem is that they're actually, how much cheaper are they? It's only 4 more points to get Chewbacca and 2 more initiative. So it's they're not in a good place. I'll say that much. I think Chewbacca has a place. I've actually seen a couple people run Chewbacca and 3 A-Wings. Doing the same things. You're just looking for passive mods. You grab
Chewbacca and the
Rose.
Porks.
I'm sorry?
Chewbacca and the Porks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you put Rose Tico on there to get some passive target locks and help you when you shoot twice per round. You can put C-3PO crew on there, start doing some weird coordinating mid-combat, which is pretty outrageous. So Chewbacca says after a friendly ship at 0 to 3 is destroyed, before that ship is removed, you may perform an action. Then you may perform a bonus attack. Which I never realized that Chewbacca works on himself. He gets to take an action and shoot before he dies. He is a friendly ship at range 0, which is very, very interesting. And if you put in C-3PO crew, who gives you a white calculate and a red coordinate, you can start doing some pretty weird stuff in the middle of combat, depending on what kind of A-Wings you're flying with. Marcel, have you ever flown Ray?
Yeah, I've flown against Ray. Not flown Ray. But I've flown. How closely would you say Ray is to Dengar? Because they're both pretty expensive. They both basically lose a lot with losing that front arc.
Ray can move better than Dengar.
Ray moves better than Dengar, even though I put expert handling on my Dengar.
Ray trades that 1 agility, or what do I want to say? She trades the reduced agility for a way better dial.
Yeah.
She's got 2 sloops.
Yeah, but the problem is that in order to make Ray be ultra effective, you need to put some upgrades on her that'll get that'll get her up close to 100
Yeah.
points. And
Yeah,
I think that's where you start struggling, because if you start matching up Ray at 100 points versus some of the other alternatives at 100 points, the Rebel Lando better, Rebel Han better, autopilot drone Rebel Scum better. Dengar's better. Dengar with a torpedo is still only comes in at like 80 something points. Is better. So I think it just happens that Ray is just really expensive to get the ability off often enough for it to matter.
I mean, you could, in theory, just fly Ray naked at 80 points, put her arc to the side, and just start 3-banking around the battlefield, boosting or taking target locks, and basically your initiative 5 Han Solo with the Force.
Yeah, so let's put that in. So doing that, let's take again going back to Scum a little bit, but not what you're gonna think I'm doing Scum. But do that again and put what's his name? Lando with trick shot. That's 51 points with rerolls. Yeah, you don't get that force, but you get rerolls. Like you get rerolls almost every shot. So at 51 points, you get the same amount of health. You get kind of the same amount of mobility, especially let's even put elite on him, so you can open up all the clears, all the blues. Yeah, after you re-roll the L337. So that's 55 points. So for 55 points with trick shot, you're essentially doing what you're saying at 55 points. So you're still 25 points under. It's just the points don't match up.
Yeah, I mean, you're spending the extra points for the Force and for the better initiative. Arguably, I guess they have about the same dial.
All right, then let's do the exact same thing.
But you have
no. You're right.
Now.
Yeah. Okay.
I think going from 2 bow tie to 3 bow tie is a huge difference.
So let's keep that same stuff. So now you got Lando, naked Lando, 80 points. Naked Lando, target lock focus every single turn.
Oh, you're talking Rebel Lando now?
Yeah, why not? I mean, we're talking about 80 points.
No, I mean, I was just we switch factions pretty wildly. Yeah, I mean,
well, I guess what I'm saying is, if you're putting 80 points into Ray, you're building around Ray. If you're putting 80 points into Dengar, you're building around Dengar. If you put 100 points, anytime you start getting above, 2/3 of your list, the rest of your list is basically building around it, right?
Agreed.
So Ray naked is not worth building around. It's just not. You have to, in order to build around Ray, you have to put a bunch of upgrades. At that point, you're at 100 and something points. At 100 and something, or close to 100 points. At close to 100 points.
Yeah, you're at 99 with Rose and Finn.
Yeah, at that point, you're better off. I mean, you're better off building around a decimator. You're better off building around, Lando or something else. I mean, if you're going to get into the 100 and somethings, you can take, Handbrake Han, or even take Dash Rendar. I mean, all of those are better. Yeah, I mean that's my point of view. Wait, Shaz Dog TGG, you said nobody takes Dash Rendar. I took Dash Rendar, and I lost in glorious fashion. So don't say nobody takes that Dash Rendar, okay? Dash Rendar with everything on it, and everything on it, Cornhorn, and I lost tremendously. So don't say nobody takes them. Okay? You may not win with them, but people take them.
Oh, I just realized I was on mute when I said that.
Okay.
Fail.
We acted like we heard you.
That's right. It'll be fine. All right. Sorry, I was coughing in the background. So now I'll say it again. Now let's move to our list of the week. Alrighty. So our list of the week comes from Zapers on our Discord channel. If you want to submit possibilities for lists of the week or questions of the week, we do that all on our Discord, guys. Anybody can join, whether you're a patron or not. Now, mind you, if you're a patron, you get a sweet Discord role, and your name changes colors depending on your level. So join us. Anybody can type in the submissions channel. So come on down. If you're watching live, !Discord. We'll put a link there. You click on it. You join up. If you don't know what Discord is, it's essentially a chat room. It's a big chat room, but it's in certain groups. So this is a specifically Gold Squadron podcast group, and we uphold the Gold Squadron podcast community standards in that group. So join us, be part of the conversation. We do lots of cool stuff on there. Talk about painting and streaming, all kinds of stuff.
And I just learned how to use it today, so hopefully I'll be on there more often.
There we go.
And that was hopefully I think I've been watching too many news. A certain somebody does this.
And anyway, let's go to our list of the week. So Zapers calls this the Den of Thieves. It has Old Terrak with Fearlessness, Forlom in the G1A Starfighter with Crackshot, Advanced Sensors, Shield Upgrade, the Mist Hunter title, and Jamming Beam, a Palob Gadali in the Hawk 290, just naked, and a Mining Guild TIE Fighter with Captain Seavor. His notes on the list are, this is all about minimizing my opponent's access to actions and maximizing my own. If I get it right, Palob will have a focus and target lock. Forlarm will calculate target lock. Seavor will probably focus and jam, and Ultarock steals tokens to do his thing. I usually flank fast with Ultarock and push the others in quick to disrupt my opponent's plans. An ideal endgame obviously leaves me with Ultarock and Forlom, although Forlom is usually heavily damaged by that point. All right. Will, I'll let you start since Marcel's just going to end up making this something with Han and an autopilot drone.
Yeah, I'll wait to see it.
Let's start here. Ratings. What do you guys want to rate it? Is it? I forgot what the rating system is. It's our rating system.
There was a Jar Jar Binks in there, which is fun.
Is it a Jar Jar?
Windu, which is like, I think Mace Windu was like.
No, you had Porkins. Porkins was explode on the board.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Jar Jar was fun and could win games, and Anakin was like competitive tier.
You got a good memory. I think you take.
I do have a good memory,
and you put it in the beard, and then you bust them out when.
No,
all right. So is it an Anakin? Is it a Porkins, or is it a Jar Jar?
No. This is like Jar Jar plus.
Jar Jar. Ooh, Jar Jar plus.
I would say Jar Jar. Actually, I would say Jar Jar. Yeah, I think one thing keeps it from being a Jar Jar plus.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm actually
one thing. One upgrade keeps it from a Jar Jar plus.
Yeah, I really wish you could get the Moldy Crow on Palob in this list, but you had to drop so many things to do so, and unfortunately,
I wonder what 12-point ship lets you drop so many points.
Oh my God! Hold on 1 second.
It's not your turn, Marcel.
I'm not even changing the list at all. I'm just having a discussion about how there might actually be too much token stripping in this build. Between Old Terrak, Palob, and Seavor, they're all stripping at least some sort of green token. I guess Seavor could strip a target lock in theory. But the Forlom might actually, if you double stress somebody, they might actually prevent them from having tokens at all. Now, obviously, that's the goal of this list, and I believe it should be able to achieve it fairly easily, as long as you can get that Palob's arc. And I think that might be the problem, is that the combination of old T and Paylob might be too much. And I think Forlom's great. This reminds me of, I'm sure Marcel's going to turn it into this list, but there's a
You got to say that with a positive.
No, I assume you're going to change it into this list. That there's a Kashka Frost in the Fire Spray, Forlom, and Paylob list that has been quite popular, I think, for quite a while, even before the last points change. They're all initiative 3. They all love like stressing people and giving stress, and they're more or less just easy to fly. They're all flying fairly good chassis. So that's what I would expect this to kind of like morph into. But the biggest problem I have with this list is that you only have 2 3-dice guns and 2 2-dice guns. As I believe he said in his notes, the ideal in game is to have old T and Forlom at the end. And I think that's probably the biggest flaw, is that Paylob and Sivor can't close out a game. Do you agree, Marcel?
They're not supposed to. He said he wants old Turok alive at the end, being the end game ship.
But don't you think that, so if you're playing this list, the first thing you're going for is old Turok and Forlom?
Well, it depends on what you're flying, but I would be probably going against old Turok and Paylob. But yeah. Well,
right.
not, actually, no. This list specifically, yes. Because I already tore it down and made something else. And in my list, yeah, you're killing Paylob first.
All right. So, Will, how would you tweak this? Would you tweak it at all? So let's say here. I challenge you both. I could say you could delete a ship, but let's not add any other ships.
I already did it, and I only changed one ship, but I kept. Here's the thing, but I read the notes, like I took all the feedback, and Autodrone Palpatine here has read the actual notes this time. You see, that's progress. And I kept the essence of the list. And I did not remove the essence of what he wants to do, but I actually made it a...
All right, so how about this? For next week...
I'll tell you this, that I think the only change I would do is strip off everything. Let me look. What are you looking at here? Yeah, so... take everything off of this entire list except for advanced sensors and Mist Hunter.
Done.
At least leave jamming being.
Well, yeah, get rid of that too.
Useless.
And then at this point in time, the only change I would make is go ahead and click on old T's name and make it Fenrau. So there's a closer for you.
So changes the list to Fenrau, Forlom with advanced sensors, Mist Hunter, Paylob, Naked, and Captain Sivor.
Yeah, because now you're giving them a hard choice to basically turn on Fenrau early. Because I think Fenrau could tank the shots better than old T, because especially at range 1, for the Fenrau extra dice and things. I mean, granted, you don't get the track shots, you don't get the extra shield, and you don't get as much token stripping, but that's probably what I would do. I still like the Mist Hunter advanced sensors barrel roll. I really think it helps Forlom get around the battlefield on that medium base. So... that's all I'd do, as I would put in a true closer with Fenrau over old T.
There it goes. All right. Let me go to a fresh copy of it. There it is.
No. You can leave, Will. Actually, me and Will have a lot of the same thoughts on this. So, again, reading on the notes, all seriousness aside, I don't see a Falcon on here, so we will put that one aside for this week only. And he had the right idea, right? So, and by the way, if everybody sees me who's on stream looking at this way, because this is where I have the list. This is where the peoples are. This is where the lists are. People's list. People's list. People's champion. You got it? Okay. So he got the right idea, right? So you can't put enough damage out with what he had. But also, what did we say? Why is Paylob not a threat here? Because he doesn't have his title. He needs the 3 dash out of the front, and he needs a double arc so he can start stealing more tokens. Because he said he wants to basically deny tokens everywhere. So go ahead and throw that title on there. Put that title on Mr. Paylob. There you go. And for some reason, they haven't made 217-point lists legal again. But what does Fen Rao give you? He gives you a little bit of damage output. So let's change Fen Rao into Talonbane. Cobra. Different ships all together. So now you got Initiative 5 ship, right? So you got an extra shield, an extra hull, less agility. He survives a little bit less, but he's still pretty tanky. In terms of, like, he's got an extra shield and extra hull. He still puts in that five dice damage at range 1, and at range 3 he's still kind of defensive. Now you've got Paylob with a 3 dice turret out of the front, plus a 2 dice secondary arc, and stripping tokens in multiple locations. You got Seaboard doing thing, and at this point it's kind of a preference. You can either do a 1 point bid is really not going to do a whole lot for you. You can put a crack shot either on Talonbane or a crack shot on Captain Seaboard at this point. Really, whatever you prefer. Just put a crack shot on one of the two. And really, that's what I would do. I think, Fen Rao is definitely a whole lot better than Talonbane, but in this particular list, I think the benefit you get from Moldy Crow outweighs the benefit that you get from Fen Rao versus Talonbane. What do you think, Will?
I mean, the title on Paylob, I think, brings him up to being able to actually close out a game if it comes down to just him. Because you have the 180-degree token denial, and you have potentially 3
focuses.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could have a lot of focuses.
Yeah.
You could have 4, I guess, in this build. Saving 2, take 1, and steal 1. But the 3 dice gun actually really increases his firepower. Now, the only thing we here in my local community, known as a Jank Squadron, we love Talonbane Cobra, but we only fly him with afterburners. You get double repositioning if you need it. Boost, then barrel roll to get out of arc, or you're trying to boost into range 1 to shoot, or in weird situations you want to boost into range 3 when you're trying to run away. So I personally wouldn't fly Talonbane without a boost, but there's really just not points in this build for it right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Zapers for submitting a list of the week. That was fun, gentlemen. Very fun. All righty. I'm going to go ahead and hit the question of the week here. So the question of the week also comes off of our Discord server, and it's from Obi Wade, and he asks, do you think the game could ever reach a point of being, quote-unquote, perfectly balanced? Or is one type of boogeyman or another inevitable in a game with so many moving pieces? What was the closest the game has ever been to perfectly balanced, and how would you define perfectly balanced? So, I mean, I think it's a dream, right? It's a dream to have it so that you're playing in a tournament and you got 20% of every faction out there, or roughly, right? Whatever the even divide of 100 divided by 17. Excuse me, not 17. by 7 is. Is it possible? I honestly, I don't think so. because I think most of the time we have two things we're dealing with, right? So you have the players who are always looking to optimize, right? They're always trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like plus delta, right? You're always just trying to find what's the best version of a thing that is available, and then you're also fighting the human condition of noticing what is good and simply replicating it. You're like, oh, for instance, so quad phantoms were seen as good, so people started flying it. Beef was seen as good, and all of a sudden you saw a bunch of people flying it. Are there lists that could possibly be good out there that are just undiscovered? Absolutely, but those two things, players constantly trying to optimize, and then players wanting, like, seeing success and wanting to replicate that with something that's already known, will, I think, always cause some type of like at least a preference towards something. Ideally, we get these point values locked in, and I think that's the beautiful thing about second edition, is the fact that FFG can always be slightly tweaking till we get close. And hopefully we get to a point where there's multiple lists in each faction that are, as a community, decided to be like, hey, all these lists are really good, and they might have, like, all right, the Rebels list is a good counter to the Imperials, but this Grand Republic list is really good against that Rebel list. You start getting the rock paper scissors lizard Spock. And then plus 2 more on there. But we'll see how it goes. For me, I think the game's in a good place when you see lists of every faction, represented at an event. So we'll kind of see how it goes. Gentlemen, you have any other thoughts on that?
I got a real simple thought on that, and it's basically one of the reasons why we like X-Wing is that while you can outfly your opponent, and while you can kind of build a interesting list with it, one of the fundamental parts of X-Wing is the math and like dice percentages and jousting values and things like that. And as far as the balance of the game, I think that there always will be lists that are simply just mathematically better, and it's kind of one of the pillars, if you will, of what makes X-Wing good, is that it is a math-based game, that you can be, as far as like jousting value, you can be better than your opponent in that aspect, and as long as that's I want to say pillar, but it means something else. But as long as that's a mainstay of X-Wing, that kind of math portion of it, there always will be lists that are just simply better than others.
Okay, I'm not muted. I don't think you'll ever get a fully balanced game, and even if you get a fully balanced game across factions, which I guess is what the question was, you're not going to get a fully balanced game across ships amongst the faction. You're always going to get, even if you get, let's say you get whatever the right percentage is, 16% of every single list in order to get to 20. In order to get to all 7 having kind of like an equal balance, you're still going to get unbalanced in the kind of ships. You're going to get more Phantoms, or you're going to get more, X-Wings or something else above other. So you're never really going to have a true balance where every ship is equal. If you want that type of balance, I suggest playing possibly checkers, where every little pawn has the same potential, but I think what you want is more than 2 or 3 lists at the top, right? You want more than 3 factions. Let's say you want we have 7, so you would say if you get a pretty good 4 factions that are good, and within each faction you have a couple different ships that are, arguably better than the others. I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good balance, and that's a pretty good expectation, realistic expectation to get from from a game that has 7 factions, and I don't even know how many ships we're at. We're at what, 40, 50 ships now.
Well, we're way over that, dude. We're hitting 70 and
whatever ships we are, yeah. So like I said, if you can get to like 40 different 40, what did I say, 40, if you can get to like 4 different factions making consistently top cuts and being reasonable, that's good. I think the other part that might hurt it is the archetypes, where if you get a lot of beef or if you get a lot of aces, I think that tends to make it seem like it's unbalanced, because you can have balance based on ships and factions. You can also have balance based on archetype, where the more dice the better could be what's good at any given time. Or if you're playing a bunch of initiative 5s and 6s and basically having the board, the bid. So it's just so many different variables. I think right now we're very close to being at a super good point in balance. I think the Phantoms are a little off, and I'm saying a little because I actually do mean, like, I think the Phantoms are a little off. I think you add as little as 2 or 3 points to the Phantoms and we're good. And I think the beef is a little off with the cost of Leia and the cost of a couple B-Wings. Outside of that, yeah, something else is going to shoot up to be better than the rest, but it's still going to be like a rock, paper, scissors where, I showed up with this, but now Severin Separatists plus Watt is going to steamroll you, or is going to give you a hard choice. Right now, there's a couple lists that just tend to be, I'm not going to say immune, but they tend to be very forgiving, regardless of what gets put on the other side of the table.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Obi Wade for submitting your question of the week. Remember, anybody can submit one. Just put it on our Discord, and you might get picked. Got lots of questions on there that we can hopefully get to. And probably in the next upcoming weeks, we might even have just like an all-out like question cast. We'll see how that goes. And people who are wondering and listening, yes, during the Seattle System Open, we ran out of time to do our patron exclusive giveaways. We're going to be doing them at the end of this cast. We got one more subject here to talk about, and that is our positive life choices. Will, I'm going to go first. And I'm going to outwardly admit that I had a bad week. Woo! Everything okay over there, Marcel?
Oh, they're coming for you, Dion. They're coming for you.
Down over there.
Oh, no!
They're over there somewhere.
I had a bad week. This last week is with the closing of the school year, and getting ready for Seattle. I didn't run even once, and had this pretty bad. I have this bad habit of when I get upset with myself for not exercising, and then I will like eat my emotions. Be like, I'm upset. I'm gonna eat a cake. I didn't eat an entire cake, but just like not eating how I should be. So I'm just, this is all about the whole positive life choices is about being accountable to each other, and I'm just admitting like I had a bad week. I should have time tomorrow. Excuse me, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's league night. So Thursday, should have time Thursday to get a run in. Today I got home also super late. Barely had time to get ready for the cast today. So, but made better food choices today. So kind of balanced out a little bit. Yeah. So hopefully next week is better.
I think that's where Will comes in.
Anybody?
Yeah. No, that's to me then. I was muted for a second. Well, actually, I'll be honest with you. So I made 2 drives. Wait, no, that's not how you say that. I drove to Chicago and home from Chicago. Totally fine. Without buying any packs of cigarettes.
Awesome. Good job, Will.
Yeah, driving was like that. I think that last hump, for as far as like buying cigarettes, I'm a social smoker still, and I got man, I wish I was keeping track of my dice against Bun, but I got punished for it in Dice Karma for smoking at the Seattle Open. So, and apparently that's my next goal. I always gotta have short-term and long-term goals and things like that. So I've hit my driving long distances without stopping for cigarettes, and I've accomplished just like normal day-to-day life without cigarettes. And my next hurdle I want to get to is going an entire X-Wing event without smoking a cigarette. And I think it's going to be hard to obtain, like I said, because I'm a social butterfly, and it's I end up meeting a lot of people going outside and getting some fresh air, if you will. So we're gonna put it on everybody else. I don't want to phrase it like that, but stop giving me cigarettes, everybody listening.
These are not for you.
Yeah, just stop giving them to me. I'm gonna have to start wearing a shirt that says "Don't give me a cigarette," even though I'm gonna ask you for one. But no, it's actually going pretty well. I'm pleasantly surprised. I've gone. Wait, what was the? So this will be 2 weeks, I think. It's been like 2.5 weeks since I bought a pack of cigarettes. It's been at least a while before my last pack. I'm trying to hit that month. Trying to go a whole month without buying a pack.
That's awesome, man.
So working on it.
Keep it up.
Things are still like as I think I say this every week, but it's not the decision to make positive life choices. It's like 100 decisions a day to keep choosing to do so. So you just got to keep at it, keep trying. For everybody out there listening with their own personal goals, you just got to keep trying. Just keep setting little goals, hit those little goals, and eventually you can hit one of your big goals.
Awesome, Marcel.
Well,
If you don't want to share today, you don't have to, man. Don't.
I always want to share because that's that. The people keep us honest, right? So yeah, today you guys see me like hitting my. Actually, I'm not drinking that much, but still, it's calories, and I did lose. Actually, I haven't gained weight. But what did happen is, sometimes we have the tough days at work, and I think it's a matter of like learning how to like take it easy and take it down without just like eating. And I did eat. I had some chips. You guys saw me munching my chips and saw me munching my other stuff. So yeah, I got to get better at that. So again, it's not terrible. I think I'm still down from 2 weeks ago, but not great. What else? Positive life choices. Oh.
All right, good share, man.
I flew Death Surrender. That's a positive life choice. Wait, they started out
False.
as a positive life choice. It ended up as a negative life choice. Like, it started out positive. I'm like, hey, I can do this. I can roll 5 dice. Hey, I can do this. I can roll 5 dice. Hey, I have Panic Pilot. Hey, I just rolled. Yeah, no good.
Fantastic. All right. You know, we've been teasing them. We've been holding out. Let's go ahead. Let's get to these giveaways. Yeah.
We're giving away
Yeah.
stuff. Can I get some giveaways? I actually want. Okay. So I've got some beef with you, D.
What?
I've got some serious beef. I'm a patron.
Hand on the stop streaming button. Okay. What?
No, I'm a patron.
Right.
And I am an avid viewer. Like me and Kayla sometimes like binge watch your System Opens like
Okay.
8 hours straight.
Okay. Where's the beef? I'm waiting for the beef.
My name is Marcel Manzano
Right.
on Twitch.
Right.
So I don't qualify to win some of that really cool look Carrington paintings.
That's not true. That's not true. If I draw your name, listen, if it's 100% legit, you get it, man.
I'm serious. Like I've been gun boating. I'm an avid gun boater.
All right. Listen, if you're in the chat right now and you have not won something, let me know, because it's more than just you. You understand? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there.
I wanted that Darth Maul. I needed that Darth Maul. That Darth Maul needs to be in my life.
It's right.
Marcel,
It's right there.
I'm in the same boat. I've been on Patreon for years, and avid watcher, and I have never won anything either, not once.
No, you see, I won a $25 gift card when you had a $25 gift card, and you were at the store. You were at the store, and I was gunboating. And I was patronizing, and they're like, "Oh, Marcel, you don't qualify. You don't get no gift card." I remember. I remember.
This is fact. This is fact. You're right. You're right. Call me out. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't need to win no gift cards, but I want me some Luke Carrington stuff.
All right. Well, it's time to do a giveaway. Okay. So this is how we're gonna do this. So you gotta remember, I can't pull up the Patreon names for you guys to see because it has people's personal information and all that. But Will and Marcel can see the list and they'll see me going through. But what I will show you is the random number generator. Okay, so you guys can see that. So let's go ahead and pull that up. All right, there's the random number generator. So the way this works for Patreon is we do the page number. So there's 15 pages of active patrons, and then we do 1 through 50 for the because there's basically 50 persons on each page, and we pick the person. We have 2 patron exclusive giveaways that we're doing. We're doing the set of templates. So we have the crimson red templates that we need to give away, and then we also have this Luke Carrington painted. Let's see, there you go. Let me go to the main camera here. Mace Windu happening right there. So let's find out who wins. And again, this is all patrons. This is legacy patrons. Let's find out who gets it. So we'll start with the templates first. Okay.
If my name doesn't come up, that means you're cheating.
That's not how this works. All right, 1 through 15. The number is 7. All right, guys. So Marcel and Will watch me go to page 7. Okay, right here. Scrolling. Oops. Let me bring it up a little higher so you guys can actually see. Here's 7. Clicking on 7. And now we're going to go to the random number generator again. And we're going to go 1 through 50. Okay. What's that number?
24.
24. All right. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That person's 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right. The winner of the templates is... Who is that, Will?
John Langile?
Langile?
That sounds good. All right, boom. All right, let's message them.
All right, everyone on chat. If it's my turn to say somebody's name next, I'm taking bribes. I'll say your name, even if it doesn't show up.
For red GSP templates. Congrats.
What? It said sub hedgehog.
No, that's no, false. False. Stop trolling. All right, so we got that done. We got that message sent off to that patron. All right, now it's for the ship. All right, patron exclusive giveaway for Mace Windu. We go back to 1 to 15. I'm gonna hit the button a bunch of times. Marcel, tell me when to stop clicking.
Stop on 15.
Oh, look, it's 15. Okay.
Ooh,
All right.
Click it one more time.
no, it's got to be on 15.
No, he said Marcel. Stop. I said.
I look. That's where it stopped. That the people could see it. All right. That's 15. All right. Here we go. We're going to page 15.
I thought you were on 15.
Oh, this is a short page too.
Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it.
This is how it works, right? There's 5 people on it. Here we go. There's 5 people on this page. It's completely random, guys. All right. 1 out of 5. Click, 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 click. Tell me when to stop, Marcel.
Stop.
What's the number?
The number is numero tres.
Numero 3.
Oh, yeah. I think I can pronounce this one. Is there, you know what? It's got an MM in it. It means Marcel Manzano, right?
That's not how it works.
That works.
It says Zachary I don't know. Doesn't have a last name. Just says Zachary.
Yeah, it does. It's
Okay, there you go. Zachary M. Mertens.
There you go. All right. So let's go ahead and send them a message. Congrats. Wait, I copied pasted. Hold on. Let me do that. No, I did not. Fail. All right. Congrats. You won a Luke Carrington painted Mace Windu.
I have a Luke Carrington Mace Windu.
Boom.
Courtesy of Campaign Against Cancer.
There you go. All right. We did it. We gave it away. Congratulations to those people. I love doing giveaways. Super fun. Super, super fun. All right, everybody. Well, I want to say thank you so much. I see people talking about I'm changing my name to ZZZZ so I can get on the last page. That's the first time the 15th page has ever been brought up. See, what's going to happen? I mean, it's if a bunch of people flip their name to Z's, it's going to end up being the same odds. You just got to, whatever. Anyway, that's hilarious. Do what you want, I guess. All right. Thank you to everybody who supports us. Reminder that this weekend we're going to be streaming live from Tulsa, Oklahoma. The cast starts on Friday at 6 p.m. Central. They're doing 2 flights, okay? So 6 p.m. Central on Friday, and then we start super early. I think it's like 9 a.m. Central on Saturday, and we'll be going all the way through Saturday, and I'm flying home on Sunday. Thank you to Daddy for helping out with the travel arrangements. He knows. I know what we're talking about. And we should be having tons of fun. Make sure to tune in on Twitch. If you haven't followed yet, make sure you do that so you can catch all of our live stream coverage. We're streaming 5 days a week, guys. We got 5 days of stream coverage. By the way, this Thursday, tune into the Gold Squadron Paintcast. I'm making a cool announcement. You're going to want to be there. Trust me. You want to be there. Just saying. You want to be there. Tomorrow is League Night every Wednesday. Sunday, we have Echo Base who joins us and breaks down one of our a game recording, gives their insight. And, of course, Monday, Thursday is the Paintcast. And Tuesday, we'll be back here, Gold Squadron Podcast Live. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube so you can get all those awesome videos we do, like This Week in X-Wing, all kinds of stuff in there. And if you want to be a part of the patron-exclusive giveaways and all that shenaz and get all the cool gifts and rewards that we hand out, you can go to patreon.com/Gold Squadron and become a part of the largest group of supporters we have. Thank you so much for everybody for listening. My name's Dion Morales, and for everybody here, thank you so much.
Gold Squadron out. I'm Matthew Wood. I play the voice of General Grievous in Star Wars, and you're listening to the Gold Squadron Podcast.